Hello, patriots, and good morning, America. I'm sure we all know the merits of democracy, the one true political system that puts the people in charge of themselves. Unlike other political systems like autocracy, oligarchy, and theocracy, which puts one or fewer or God in charge of government, democracy believes in the will of the people. But people can be dumb. Shocking to some, I know, but look around you and you might believe it, especially if you're an American in, any time period, really. This is the core problem with democracy. How to trust the majority of the people when a majority of the people can be wrong. A common way, and one baked into our own political system, is the principle of counter-majoritarianism. Counter-majoritarianism is a political phenomenon in which a minority of the people can block the will of the majority. The general belief being that the majority of the people should be able to govern, but should only with the consent of the minority. This typically takes form in motions that require more than just a simple majority to complete. In cases like these, it was believed that the higher thresholds would allow people to cool off and calmly and carefully consider whether or not the motion was a good idea. Now, when I've just now defined counter-majoritarianism as a tool to block the will of the majority, you've probably already thought of an example. Yes, the U.S. Senate permits Rule 22, better known as the filibuster, where any number of senators could block legislation on the Senate floor by simply speaking for an unlimited amount of time. In order to stop it, one must invoke cloture, which requires 60 of the 100 senators to support it. However, there are other examples of counter-majoritarianism in the Senate as well. Voting to ratify treaties, impeachment, or in a shared case with the House overriding a president's veto. All of these actions require more than just a majority to succeed, 2/3 to be exact. Counter-majoritarianism is even baked into our own Constitution. During the Constitutional Convention, the smaller states were worried that the larger states, Virginia, New York, Pennsylvania, would use their majority in numbers to bulldoze any interest the smaller states could have. This led to several constitutional counter-majoritarian measures, such as the Senate itself. It might seem like a simple difference between the chambers of government, but the Senate's 2 senators per state rule is a big deal. It means that smaller states are much more secure in their rights, and those citizens of those smaller states will always have a say in their government, regardless of how small their state is. In fact, this Senate 2 senators per state rule was so important to the founders that it's the only part of the Constitution that is entrenched. Article 5 specifically says no change can be made to deprive a state of their equal rights in the Senate. To get rid of this, one would first need to pass a constitutional amendment getting rid of this clause, and then another actually changing the Senate. Oh, and constitutional amendments, by the way, with their 2/3 of both congressional chambers' approval and 3/4 of the states consenting, getting constitutional amendments added is the most counter-majoritarian measure written into the Constitution, short of requiring unanimity. Good luck with that. So why should we care about this phenomenon? It's important to think about what the framers intended when they put these features into the Constitution. Counter-majoritarian measures aren't bugs or glitches in our government, but are symptoms of a guiding principle in our Constitution. But these measures can also be weaponized. Consent of the minority seems harder and harder to obtain these days. And when you want change and want it quickly, it can be easy to disregard counter-majoritarianism. But it, like most of the Constitution, was built in service of protecting against monarchy and the tyranny of the majority, so that Americans may live in peace and accord with their government and the wisdom of democracy.